We may be one of the world's most familiar companies, but we make more than our name suggests. We're an organic tea company, a premium juice company, a coconut water company. We've got drinks for long days, for birthdays, for turning over new leaves. And we make them for every moment in every corner of the country. We are the Coca-Cola Company, and we're proud to offer so much more.
New developments in the top story of the day. The world has stopped turning on its axis. Top scientists are currently racing to come up with a solution.
Let's go! Let's go!
The idea is that the power of the foot will propel the planet back into its proper motion.
Let's go! Whoa, 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 whoa! What's up? Why's everybody going this way? You sure about this?
Let's go. This just in. Everyone is running the wrong way. Repeat, you're running the wrong way.
Let's go! I knew it! I knew it! I knew I was right! You gotta do the whole thing again!
Laura, you found my secret. Our world is in danger. You must stop them.
It'll be an adventure.
Some men like dangerous women.
You shouldn't have come here, but I'm glad that you did.
You messed with the wrong family.
Tomb Raider.
Can't be too careful these days.
I'll take 2.
Experience it on IMAX. Rated PG-13.
13 seed is going to take down a 4 seed. Who's the underdog? It ain't us. But it's a Buffalo story in Boise, Idaho.
We know what we had. We know what we had. We got the team that can beat Kentucky. Great win. We ain't done yet.
Oh, and throwing it down. Two-handed jam, Sasha Kalia-Jones.
We're playing like we have nothing to lose, so it's probably going to come down to who has the ball last.
Well, Coach John Calipari is hoping to make another deep run in the tournament with his Wildcats, and with Buffalo and Kentucky moments away from tipping off, the national champion coach gave us 20 seconds of his time.
I'm doing it very slow. Go ahead.
Your mark and say, go.
Hi, John Calipari, University of Kentucky, head basketball coach. I like to read. I do absolutely nothing around my house. I don't cut grass. I don't rake leaves. I don't paint. I painted one time, but I painted around the furniture. Not a good thing. Don't know how to hammer a nail. Don't know where to put the oil. Not good at anything.
I know you disagree with that. He's really good at coaching.
I think he's a terrific coach. I like him a lot as a person. But I tell you what, he won't say it, but he had the greatest weekend so far with Arizona and Virginia losing. I know in the back of his mind, he probably told his players, because I thought they were going to have a tough time with Arizona, thought they were going to have a tough time with Virginia if they got to that game. He had the greatest weekend. I'm looking forward to see his team come out play with great energy today.
Maction.
Yeah, they're coming.
Maction, don't you,
Can't
Wally?
look by the Buffalo Bulls now. This team can flat out shoot it. They made 15 threes. Now, Kentucky's personnel, I think, is a lot more equipped to handle the pace.
Yes.
Whereas that's what got Arizona. But this Buffalo team feels like they're ready to compete.
And they can make shots. And the key for Buffalo is going to be, will they compete on the boards? Can they compete on the boards? And I think they can. And will they be able to get finishes inside? Because I think they can win the three-point game. Kentucky, not a three-point shooting team. They've made some at times, but that's not their strength. Buffalo will win the three-point shooting game, I think. That's in their favor. Can they get points in the paint sufficient enough to allow the three-point shooting to win the game.
Well, the winner of this Buffalo-Kentucky game gets to play the winner of Kansas State UMBC, but that is a different story for a different time. That'll do it for us here on the road to the Final Four, Buffalo and Kentucky. Coming right up. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Ready Player One, in theaters March 29th. Axe, find your magic. And by Subway, make it what you want.
There's a secret in them Smoky Mountains, and it's my new KFC Smoky Mountain Barbecue, made by taking my freshly prepared extra crispy fried chicken and coating it in a sweet and smoky barbecue. Try it in a tender's basket at KFC, now just $4.99. It's finger-licking good.
On for Advanced Electrolyte System. If I'd have had that back in my day, I'd have taken everybody to school. They'd have had a PhD in getting that tail whooped. Man, that's some kind of power.
That's why I wear new Everlight underwear from Fruit of the Loom.
Why would I need Everlight underwear?
Because you don't notice you're wearing it.
Like you're not gonna notice it.
No, he's right. It's made from unbelievably light material.
Light material? You believe this hype about underwear you don't notice?
You've never heard of Everlight? What, do you live in a cave?
What, do you live in a cave?
I think they're onto us. You hearing this?
What?
No, I'm not. These are just earmuffs. So cold.
New Everlight from Fruit of the Loom. So light you won't even notice it.
We thought our parents ended the war, but now it's our turn to fight.
Well, he's pretty big.
Fire everything you've got!
Rated PG-13.
Sometimes we imagine things far worse than they truly are.
But we take a deep breath and we do our taxes with TurboTax. Now a CPA can review your return with you. Am I getting a maximum refund?
I checked it, ma'am. You're good to go.
See, nothing to be afraid of at all.
Hello?
Intuit TurboTax.
So lose a lot! Thy armor was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman! Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
And we welcome you from Boise, Idaho. Great crowds filing in. Look at that. They've even got tailgating out there getting ready for this round 2 matchup. It is the Bulls of Buffalo out of the MAC who disposed the 4 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, taking on another brand of cats here tonight, the Kentucky Wildcats and Big Blue Nation. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Chris Webber. Lisa Byington is our reporter, and we are ready to play some ball here tonight. Packed house here in Boise. It feels like a home game for Buffalo. Tell us what you liked on Thursday from the Bulls.
I like the three-headed monster, the guards. This guy, Devontae Jordan, has such an impact, doesn't even need to score. How about the choir boy, C.J. Massenberg? He doesn't play like a choir boy. He plays like a grown man. And right here, C.J. Clark from West Clark from Detroit. He does it all. So happy, so much fun to watch these guards play. The way they go is the way the team goes.
Well, until yesterday, probably the biggest upset in the tournament with Buffalo taking care of Arizona. Now, Kentucky, they were in a fight with the Davidson Wildcats. They survived, though. They come with all these freshmen who now have experience, including their alpha dog, Kevin Knox.
I'm having a fabulous time here in Boise watching these freshmen. And it starts with Kevin Knox, and I tell you what, he's going to have to use his size to out-rebound and to get some tough plays inside, but he can score all over.
5 freshmen in the starting lineup for the Kentucky Wildcats, including their point guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Upperclassmen for the Buffalo Bulls. Their backcourt is terrific, averaging over 20 points in their first round game, and their upset win over Arizona. Clark and Massenberg and Jeremy Harris, the junior college transfer. Kevin Knox and the Kentucky Wildcats matching up against Buffalo, the State University of New York at Buffalo. And the winner has a date in the Sweet 16 in Atlanta. We're in the South region here, and we're ready to tip it off. Tip is up, Kentucky controls, and away we go. Round of 32 underway in Boise. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being checked by Jordan immediately. That's the first matchup you'll want to keep an eye on. And work it inside. Unable to get that Diallo, but the offensive board, Richards can't hit either. A couple of opportunities early. You figure the rebounding edge is going to go toward Kentucky today. So much size with the Wildcats. But this is a savvy Buffalo squad, and springing free is Ikenna Smart.
Speed beats size mostly every time if you can get enough separation, and that's what Buffalo is going to have to do. Use the quickness of their guards to outmatch the size of Kentucky.
Gilgeous-Alexander finishes with the right hand. Kentucky on Thursday got off to a great start against Davidson. Their first half was a thing of beauty, Chris. Second half, they struggled a little bit. Davidson got back in it and gave them a big fight in round one. There's a whistle before the shot. That's going the other way.
Offensive foul right there on Smart, but you see Clark using his speed to gather two players. When you do that, you got one wide open, make a cut. Nice finish inside.
Buffalo not just beating Arizona, but handily beating Arizona, 89-68. Meanwhile, Kentucky with their win over Davidson College, it was 78-73 the final. Kentucky did not make a three-pointer in the game against Davidson for the first time in a long time.
Saw some of the fans upset about that, but when you have size like Kentucky, that's what you do. That's your three-pointer. That's a dunk right there. That's Washington.
Washington scored 11 first-half points on Thursday in round one. He was off to a great start. Did not score in the second half.
Wow, the size of Knox, but he still has the speed to keep up with Massenburg on the picks.
Jordan gets to the rim. Smart with the putback. Ikenna Smart, the junior from Nigeria. He's one of those big bodies that Nate Oates and the Buffalo Bulls can put on Kentucky. They're not looking for Smart for a whole lot of offense typically, but he's on the board with a couple of field goals early. Washington fouled by Smart, and already his second foul.
Just the size. Do not be mad if they don't shoot threes, if they're dominating it inside. Washington using his size and his strength, and expect Kentucky to do that all night. Hammer, hammer, hammer the offensive boards to get extra possessions for their team.
Into the game is Nick Perkins. He is the sixth man of the year in the MAC. Looking up top and a throwdown. Great setup by Gilgeous-Alexander to Nick Richards. Gilgeous-Alexander has been an impact point guard. Once Kentucky, after they had lost 4 in a row, once they got it settled, as Gilgeous-Alexander fouls Clark going to the basket.
Such a beautiful play. Right there, Wes Clark missing his assignment. He has to back up to be that defender, so you can't get the alley-oop. But the pick and roll of Kentucky, so tough to stop because they have guys that can penetrate, and also you could throw it up and just get the alley-oop too.
Perkins after that lob on the bench. Kalia Jones, his first run. Here's Harris, JUCO transfer, met at the rim. It's going to be a fast pace here in our first game. We've got Ohio State and Gonzaga coming up next as we'll move into the West region for the second game. Gilgeous-Alexander goes all the way to the hole again. Just the start Kentucky was looking for.
Again, expect Buffalo to try to speed up the pace. You do not want to let Kentucky set up in the half court. And I tell you what, that looked like a clean block. I'd like to see that replay again.
First foul on Knox. Put Massenburg at the free throw line. A reminder, you can watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. C.J. Massenburg, the junior from Dallas, C. Webb called him the choir boy. That's true. He actually owns that. He sung in a choir, played piano in the choir, growing up in the church in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, yeah, we had a nice talk about it. My mother's a choir director, too, at Rosedale Park Baptist Church, and he told me that his mother and everyone at that church were there praying for him and that he was going to do his best. He definitely embraces it, but he embraces that toughness on the court as well.
19 points. He made 5 3-pointers against Arizona, and he knocks down all 3 free throws. Kentucky 8, Buffalo 7, as we are just underway from Boise, Idaho.
Interesting to see how that foul plays a role on Knox. When you're the best offensive player on your team and you have to have the best defensive assignment, you don't want to bail out with the early one. They got him on.
And a block. Devontae Jordan.
Bad call.
The old block charge. It's a tough one. Head coach Nate Oates disagrees.
That's a bad call. He leads with his shoulder. But that's what you want to do as an offensive player. You see he sticks his right arm out there. But what you want to do as an offensive player, you want to put the referee in a tough position to make a tough call. Good job by Kentucky on that play.
Devontae Jordan, number 4 in blue. He and Kevin Knox were teammates AAU circuit in Florida outside Orlando. But on top again, that actually hit the rim. Bad pass by Gilgeous-Alexander. It was set up for him. Clark, he's got some speed. Oh, denied. Amadou Diallo with that 44-inch vertical rejection.
He talking a little bit too, letting him know what he could do. Get that shot out of here.
Flying high. Head hanging around the net. Amadou Diallo, he could be a difference maker as well defensively. And going to stay in the possession of Buffalo here.
You know what? Diallo is taking this matchup with Jordan very seriously. He knows Devontae Jordan is a great defender. He's embracing the moment.
Clark running into Diallo. Poked it free. That's going the other way. Turnover, Buffalo. Kentucky's got him a little rattled here early. Those 3 free throws helped. But Kentucky is getting into their rhythm the way they want to play early.
Along with Montel McRae into lineup 4, the Bulls.
Montel McRae will check in for Wes Clark. John Calipari brings on his backup point guard now. Quade Green was the starter, had the back injury. That's why Gilgeous-Alexander ended up taking over that role. Green very capable running the show for the Wildcats. Knox couldn't turn. A lot of hands hit on the basketball. That's his shot. A little mid-range. He tore up Davidson with that mid-range from that exact spot on Thursday in round 1.
You guys want to dive into the rabbit hole with me? It's so much fun watching Knox go on that baseline, even if he doesn't get the ball, the way he plays off the strings.
Give it right back. Give it right back again. And a foul. Free throws coming from Nick Perkins. Good ball movement by Buffalo. Great start early here at Boise.
San Antonio, here we come.
Hey, Chuck, you're really excited about this Final Four.
Final Four? Final s'more. I'm more excited about the a la mode.
A la what?
You know, the famous fort that serves ice cream.
Chuck, it's the Alamo, not a la mode.
I don't care how they pronounce it. I just want my ice cream.
Wow.
I wonder if they have sprinkles.
Best 2 out of 3?
Hanes presents The Magic of the Pouch. The majestic kangaroo is a miracle of nature. The kangaroo's pouch provides comfort and security for the little ones inside. This amazing feature was possibly the inspiration behind Hanes Comfort Flex Fit, with a breathable pouch for support in roomy fit. It was that, and probably this. Hanes Comfort Flex Fit, the latest innovation in comfort from Hanes.
Discover how you can make a difference in your community and country, serving part-time in the Army National Guard. Visit goarmy.com/Army Guard.
Mascots really lighten up games at the stadium. So this guy brought one to lighten up this watch party. Maybe stick with a tasty oven-baked chip.
Lighten up your game day with Ritz Crisp and Thins.
A man with nothing to lose. That's what you are looking at.
When did it become a crime to succeed in this country? I am so close to getting X. You sold me out.
We will fight back.
There's nothing that you can do about it. It's Judgment Day.
Are you in? Billions. New season. Only on Showtime. Start your free trial.
Finally, I found chicken tenders that can pass as mine, which is nice because I've got better things to do.
That was double dribble, Raymond.
McDonald's Buttermilk Crispy Tenders. They're not grandma's, but she's okay with that.
21-point win. Nate Oates and the Buffalo Bulls defeat the Arizona Wildcats.
We know how good we are. We know what we got to do. So here's the deal. Like, celebrate it. You know, answer all the, you'll have a million texts on your phone, great. And then look, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're taking the phones away and we'll figure out what time because you got to get some sleep. Because we're not.
A look inside the Buffalo locker room after they upset Arizona, and Nate Oates held true to his word. He did take those phones away from his players. 12:30 a.m. to be exact. 9.5 hours the players were without their phones. He joked, he said, you want kids to do anything, you got to take those away. The whole point is the reset of focus and the reset of expectations. Getting to the second weekend was a goal for them this past fall, not just when the brackets were announced. In fact, they thought they could be a 10th seed entering this season. Some injuries, some losses prevented that. But Brian, the second weekend has always been a goal since last November even.
Yeah, they have believed in themselves as Clark misses a three. And if you're around 18 to 22, 23-year-olds, you know that is severe punishment to take away your cell phone.
Yeah, it is, but the great thing is 12:30 to 9 in the morning, you should be asleep anyway, getting ready for the game. It's not like it was 5 p.m. But I love what Lisa said about the reset of our goals. And that's what it's about, to remind guys, listen, we're very happy, but we expected to be here, and we expect to do some bigger things now. If we celebrate now, we wasted our time.
Well, they had a notion that they were going to be good enough to challenge in the MAC conference. They won their conference tournament over Toledo. They won by 10. That tournament was in Cleveland. And they arrived here to Boise with extreme confidence. They felt like they were better than Arizona. They proved it. That wasn't just talk. They proved it on Thursday with a 21-point win against the Wildcats. Perkins for the ball fake and a foul. As Perkins was trying to deliver the pass, P.J. Washington will be hit for the foul.
Perkins is probably the only player on the Buffalo team that can match the size of a Kentucky player. And actually, Jackson's pretty big there, but they need to look and try to get Perkins the ball, let him facilitate a little bit.
And Perkins is a three-point shooter. He shoots a line drive shot, comes up too strong on that one. Back in transition out of the miss. Quade Green finds Knox for three. Rebound pulled down by Carruthers. And now a three-pointer is up. Massenberg. One and done. Washington clears. Back and forth they go. Here's Knox. Lost the handle right into the hands of Perkins. Perkins, he can shoot it. He's missed two now. You know Buffalo wants to see him get one through quickly. He is a big-time scorer off the bench, back-to-back Sixth Man of the Year in the MAC Conference. Always remember, if you have a refreshing Coke Zero Sugar, a big upset isn't that upsetting. Brian Anderson, Chris Webber, Lisa Byington, welcoming you from Boise, Idaho. Kentucky to a good start. They lead 12-7. And Kenneth Smart picked up his second foul. So early foul trouble for Buffalo. Kentucky's outscored Buffalo 8-3. Oh, looking up top for Kalia Jones. So much talent on the floor with Big Blue.
Kentucky is a larger team, but they have the speed to match Buffalo.
Harris off the window. Good answer. You'll notice the crowd is certainly swinging more in the favor of Buffalo. typically the case when the underdog has a chance.
But again, Kentucky is used to every team's best every year. They have a bullseye on their back, and I don't think that will affect them at all. It's hard to stop this, a team with size and speed. Kentucky getting it done.
Kentucky still without Jared Vanderbilt with the ankle injury. John Calipari hopeful he could return if they do advance and make it to the Sweet 16. In the meantime, Sasha Kalia-Jones has picked up those minutes. He's played terrific both in the SEC tournament and on Thursday against Davidson. Another one and done for Buffalo. Gilgeous-Alexander back on the floor.
Kentucky playing with so much more purpose and focus early on today.
Gilgeous-Alexander spins, goes to the rack, score it, and one. Penetrating ability of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Canadian.
This is Knox's team, but I tell you what, this has been Gilgeous-Alexander's game so far. And it started early on, the first 5 minutes on the defensive end, getting him going now on offense.
Scored 17 points of his 19 in the second half against Davidson. Can't complete the three-point possession. 16-9 Kentucky. Buffalo trying to get on some footing here.
Smart set screens and not get an offensive foul. 2 already.
Harris, three-pointer is up. And an offensive rebound. And Harris all the way to the hole.
Jeremy Harris. He has some handles and some one-on-one ability. He and Clark, they're 2 best one-on-one players along with Massenburg.
Harris scored 23 against Arizona Thursday, including 3 three-pointers. Diallo gets free and a throwdown at the rim. Kentucky's getting a lot of freedom inside the paint. Clark, quick pull on a 3. No. And an offensive foul. And they're going to get Smart on this. This will be number 3 on Ikenna Smart.
Now, when he is the most physical and opposing presence on your team, really tough. You need him out there, but you can't get that third foul. But if you're Coach Oates, you got to do something now. You cannot get down too early to Kentucky. They're just too strong.
And it is interesting, Nate Oates goes with Montel McCray instead of Nick Perkins. Kentucky +7 with Smart on the bench. The big body defensively in the middle. Kentucky has had their way in the paint. And now he's back on the bench. Washington with the left hand. He's fouled. Montel McCray fouls him. Free throws coming for P.J. Washington. Buffalo out of the MAC. Kentucky out of the SEC.
Nobody drinks till this guy sweats.
Degree Advanced Protection works up to 100 degrees, but be careful, it won't let you down.
Yeah, the Cancer was the heavy favorite. Being an underdog really is motivation. People are thinking that you're gonna bottom out. People are thinking that you're not going to be strong enough. And I know that by beating cancer, everything else is easy.
Take a time out to fight cancer. Play the Infinity round-by-round bracket.
A Hilton getaway means you get more because you get a break on breakfast. Get more play on the fairway. Get your game on. Get to hang out a little longer. There are some things you can only get when you book with us. Get more from your sports getaway with exclusive Hilton offers. Book yours only at Hilton.com.
People say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So we think it's about time we start treating it that way. Breakfast made with respect. Panera. Food as it should be.
The search was intense. We spent weeks canvassing the quadrant to pinpoint our perfect location. Once locked in on our target, he knew he had to move fast.
Fortunately, we were already pre-approved for a no-money down loan with Navy Federal Credit Union, and were able to put an offer on this place immediately after it went on the market.
I see you, Dad.
How are my tomatoes doing, babe?
Pretty good.
Navy Federal Credit Union, open to the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their families.
How to get this yard?
Behind Pete's great-looking yard is his secret weapon, the Scott's Turf Builder program. All it takes is 4 feedings with a Scott's solution for every season.
It's that easy.
This is a Scott's yard.
Power in the paint, presented by Powerade, and Kentucky showing a little power going to the hole on a few occasions.
Oh, man, that's how you beat a press, or how you make sure that you get some easy buckets. Push the pace. Don't take a bad shot, but if you happen to see somebody open, throw it up. Let them go get it.
Kentucky has made 8 of their last 10, many of those coming right there at the rim. Kentucky 9 out of 14 from the field. Meanwhile, Buffalo has missed all 6 of their 3-point attempts. They've made 15 threes against Arizona as Washington hits the first free throw. 14 of the 19 points for Kentucky coming in the paint right now. Washington with those 11 first half points on Thursday gets a couple of free throws here.
If you're Buffalo, you just have to continue to play your style of play. 0 for 6 for you guys should mean nothing. Just keep on getting good shots.
Nick Perkins back on the floor and around and out. Kalia Jones pulls down the board. Kevin Knox back on the floor for Kentucky after that timeout.
A little bit of blood in the lip of Perkins that time.
Behind the back, Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's fouled. Jordan, number 2. Devontae Jordan with the foul. Gives us a chance to check in with Lisa Byington.
Yeah, I was listening into Nate Oates' huddle, and the points in the paint was a serious issue for him. He said, guys, we're not even paying attention to our game plan. Expect them defensively to gap some stuff, meaning they're going to push inside the lane a little bit more defensively to push out to the perimeter to try to avoid some of those inside buckets. Offensively, guys, they seem to be okay with the shots that they're getting.
They're definitely taking the shots that they need to, but defensively, when Kentucky screens and rolls, there either needs to be a harder trap with rotation from the weak side, but that's what's hurting them on the points in the paint. The pick and roll of Kentucky, lobbing it up to the big fellas for the easy finishes.
Wes Clark manning the point for Buffalo. Harris pulls a 3, 0 for 7 now for Buffalo. Long rebound Perkins. This was an area where they thrived on Thursday as Clark attacks and is fouled.
And that's what it is. It's almost like a football game when you can't get any rhythm. You got to run it 2 or 3 times, even if you have to punt it after. That's what Buffalo has to do. They have to penetrate, try to wear this defense down. Even if you can't, even if it doesn't seem like it's working right away, just stick with your game plan.
P.J. Washington picks up his 2nd foul. He fouled out Thursday against Davidson. And a substitution coming as Clark hits the first free throw. William Gabriel back on the floor now. A reminder that first-round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues today on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. 2 for 2 for Wes Clark, the Missouri transfer. Not eligible until late December, basically a half a season to get to his first NCAA tournament. But he has had 4 matchups with Kentucky back in his SEC days. He made 3 starts against Kentucky as well. Knox with a little jump hook. He's got a lot in his game to like.
So much versatility, but so efficient. When he catches it off the screen, when he shoots it, when he pops it in the post, just like on that play.
Clark pulls a 3, hits the 3. First 3-pointer of the game for Buffalo. Clark made 3 threes against Arizona, part of his 25-point round 1 performance in his first NCAA tournament game. Gabriel getting some minutes here with Washington in foul trouble. Unable to hit. Here come the Bulls. And Massenberg wide open. Knox clears. Maybe too wide open.
Wow, Gabriel just sprinting down the floor. Such a fast-paced game. These guys are engaged today.
It's got a great pace to it. Both teams like to play fast. Buffalo has no problem playing fast. Part of their game. Again, same spot, same result for Kevin Knox.
Man, that's a pro move right there. And again, not a lot of wasted dribbles, not a lot of wasted movement. 2 dribbles, spin, jump hook.
Quick 8 points for Kevin Knox, SEC Freshman of the Year.
I know Perkins can shoot the ball from 3, but I'd love to see him go inside a little bit too and use that big body of his to get some easy ones.
The Perkins has already missed twice. Harris springs free. Good find by Wes Clark.
Harris is the type of guy that doesn't need his play called. Just give him the rock, or he'll find the rock. He'll score.
Harris now with 6. Gilgeous-Alexander goes right by Massenburg. Fouled on the way up. Another chance at a 3-point play. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting to the rim at will here so far.
Miscommunication right here on the pick and roll. You're going to see Massenburg to say, wait a minute, where's my help? He thought that he was coming over to his right. He didn't. He went baseline, and you got to talk on defense if you want to stop a team as powerful as Kentucky from scoring easily.
Quick shot this time. Didn't even get the announcement in for his name at the line before he shot that ball. He's still able to knock it down. 11-point Kentucky lead. Wes Clark being guarded by Quade Green. Now the switch. Kalia Jones on him. He'll pull another one. He hits another one. Wes Clark. 2 3-pointers. Last 3 possessions. He's got 8 now. 8-point game. Kentucky with the lead in the ball.
There's that pick and roll again. This time Buffalo communicated.
Look how much space there is in the paint. Quade Green delivers a 3 for an answer. Quade Green, his first attempt, is a long-range bomb. Saw John Calipari right behind him, urging his Wildcats to keep the intensity up defensively.
I love it. Coach Cal almost pushed Green into his offensive player.
Massenburg, offensive board, scores on Kalia Jones. Not only do the Buffalo guards shoot it well, they pass it well, make good decisions, but they'll get in there and dig out rebounds as well. We saw that against Arizona.
Yes, BA. Tough guards, and they're going to have to be tough to win this one.
Green comes up short. Buffalo on the move. High field goal percentage. A lot of those are dunks for Kentucky.
You have to watch Harris.
Harris, and a foul. Late whistle, but a foul on Knox. Harris taking him to the rack, heading to the free throw line.
Wes Clark from the Michigan area, playing for his high school coach. Living the dream, baby. Living the dream.
New York City is now New York CC's. New York-inspired ingredients baked into New York-style pizzas and new cheesecake brownies. Just $5 and change on the buffet for a limited time, only at CC's.
Over a year ago, I was diagnosed with advanced non-small cell lung cancer.
A true story with Keytruda.
My world came crashing down.
Come on, kids.
But I was not ready to give up.
After testing for high levels of PD-L1, I started on Keytruda.
In a clinical study, Keytruda offered patients a longer life than chemotherapy, and it's an immunotherapy that can be your first treatment. Keytruda is for adults with non-small cell lung cancer that has spread, who test positive for PD-L1, and whose tumors do not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack normal organs and tissues in your body and affect how they work, and may be serious and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you experience new or worsening cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, severe stomach pain or tenderness, nausea or vomiting, rapid heartbeat, increased hunger or thirst, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in urine, changes in eyesight, muscle pain or weakness, joint pain, rash, itching or flushing, as this may keep these problems from becoming more serious. These are not all the possible side effects of Keytruda. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems, or if you've had an organ transplant, or lung, breathing, or liver problems.
I used to take the small things for granted. I don't anymore.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda, with more FDA-approved uses for advanced lung cancer than any other immune.
We're out of Bud Light.
Bud Light flow once again. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Need a fresh keg here too. It's really loud in my face.
A keg of Bud Light is changed every 6 seconds. Enjoy it fresh.
I just got a tip that'll crack this case wide open.
Did McGruffy Wuffy get a tippy whippy?
Who's a good boy? Is him a good boy?
As long as people talk baby talk to dogs, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Our tournament summary, we have one of those 13 seeds to advance. Buffalo taking on Kentucky. Congratulations to Marshall as well. And C-Web, how about UMBC, Maryland-Baltimore County, in that historic win yesterday against Virginia?
Baltimore stand up. And, I mean, if you're going to go through the door, you might as well kick the door in. That wasn't an upset. That was a beatdown, if we're really just going to be honest about it.
Well, historical sporting upset, not just in the NCAA tournament, certainly the most significant in the NCAA tournament, but of all time, you can go through whatever your mental Rolodex of greatest upsets ever and put that one on the list. Harris, 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. 32-24, 8-point Kentucky lead. Wildcats have hit 2 threes thus far after not making a three-pointer. Went 0 for 6 against Davidson. Beg your pardon, 1 3-pointer on 2 tries. Quade Green hit the lone 3. There's Diallo. He'll step back and wrestle for it. Gabriel gets it back. Massenberg flying high for the rebound. Massenberg left open. He'll shoot the 3 and he'll hit it.
Diallo looks over at Jones and says, man, what are you doing? I need you to step up. We need to communicate. And with Max on the bench right now, it's up to Diallo to make sure he's the facilitator.
Gilgeous-Alexander with the answer. Tells the crowd to quiet down. He knows they're against him. Quickly, Carruthers can't get the roll, and a foul, and that's going to Kentucky. Offensive foul.
I think Kentucky is embracing this moment and the fact that it seems like they're on a road game. That's what you do to a crowd that is getting on your back. You knock a shot down.
Well, it is a little bit of an environment that John Calipari created here, because coming to this tournament was very public about having to go all the way to Boise. Actually compared it maybe to going to Anchorage. It's not quite that far, Coach Cal, but you get the idea. He's trying to create this us versus them mentality. He's got that in this scenario. It's fairly common, though, when an underdog is playing a blue blood like this, that that particular site is going to pull for the underdog, so that's not uncommon.
That is a way to gather your team and make them focus. When you create an enemy, it just keeps everyone else's focus in the locker room on one page, no different agendas.
William Gabriel selected as the foul shooter. And hits the first one on the 1-and-1. Reminder, tomorrow on CBS, the NCIS Los Angeles team face the biggest threat of the season in a can't-miss new episode. It's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central on CBS. Gilgeous-Alexander went to the line. Gabriel was instructed he was the one who was fouled, and he hits both free throws, and it is a 10-point deficit for Nate Oates. And Buffalo with the ball. Kevin Knox with 2 fouls on the bench for Kentucky. Massenberg had it denied by Diallo. Another block. His second. Diallo had 3 blocks and a steal in their win against Davidson Thursday. His spring loaded vertical right there. Diallo, a high flyer. Carruthers. Massenberg to Clark. Good ball movement. And another 3 for Wes Clark. His third. Clark with 11. And a foul. That's actually a foul on Kentucky. They're going to get Kalia Jones. Put the ball back in the hands of Buffalo. Both teams in the bonus. Free throws coming.
And that was a foul. He got in the way, Massenberg. But that's what you want to do as a guard. That's why these guards are tough. And believe it or not, their best defender, Jordan, is on the bench right now. Never say quit attitude of Buffalo. They believe.
Fouls are stacking up right now, Chris. That's the second on Kalia Jones. Kentucky's already in the double bonus. As Buffalo now moves into the 1-1. As we check in with Lisa.
Funny how things work for C.J. Massenburg. Buffalo ended up being his only D1 offer. San Francisco, he's a Cali kid, and San Francisco pulled its other offer when they got a recruit at the same position. So when Bobby Hurley left Buffalo, the program was in need of some players. They went to some JUCO routes and some players, but Nate Oates and his staff also got tipped off on C.J. And C.J. told me, hey, I play almost the same system back in Cali in high school, so this works out just fine for me.
Had to sell himself to Buffalo. He never saw him play live, Nate Oates and his staff. Just recruited him on video, offered him a scholarship, and here he is, first team All-MAC. 1 out of 2 from the line. Kentucky by 6 with the ball. Quanti Green will let another three-pointer go. Now and a follow by Diallo! Woohoo! Flying high! Man!
Diallo has been the energy for Kentucky. Yes, Knox is their best player, but Diallo, his focus, getting on other players and then just following. And then how he takes it out of one hand and puts it in the other. That's the way to attack the offensive glass.
That is 6'5", going up over 6'8", Nick Perkins by plenty. Perkins down on the block. Lost the handle. Massenburg gets it back. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Now it goes to 5. Massenburg. Long three. Okay. From the rafters.
I think his mom was saying a prayer in church for that one. That helped that go in. Massenburg, 40-foot three.
No doubt some divine inspiration on that thing. Three-pointers starting to fall now for Buffalo. Quanti Green to the hole, taking on Perkins. And that'll be Kentucky ball.
This is very smart.
Tape out.
Yeah, CJ looks up at the shot clock. To take another dribble, that'd be a waste of time. You're just going quicker and closer to the defender. That's right. Take it from there, and hopefully your team can get a long rebound. But hey, with some prayers being said, that goes in. 3.
I feel like Meadowlark Lemon used to do that a lot, then throw water on people.
Yeah, but he was a preacher, so he prayed all the time, too.
Foul on Clark. John Calipari, he knows. Says, get out there. Get out there. Maybe Massenburg heard that and let the shot go.
Yeah, but smart of Gabriel not to go out there because he was waiting for the time. And if Gabriel would have took a step, he would dribble right by him for that as a guard. That's just a tough shot. If you have to make that over a 6'9", then hey, kudos to you.
Yeah, take your chances, right? Quanti Green. This is the first free throw. Now who's going to make the most shots? Who has more points in the second half? If your bracket's already busted, play the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run Game on NCAA.com and in the March Madness Live app. 1 out of 2 for Green, and Coach Cal will bring Kevin Knox back onto the floor with 2 fouls.
If you are Massenburg, if you are Harris, and you have Knox on you, you need to be aggressive, attacking with the dribble, not trying to just score and take a bad shot, but attack with the dribble, see if you can attack him, get that third foul on him, or facilitate for your teammate.
Buffalo has made 5 of their last 7 three-point attempts. Here's another one going up. Too strong, contested well by Diallo, and Gabriel runs it down. Here comes Kentucky. Gilgeous-Alexander all the way in and finishes at the rim. Defense turning into offense. Clark pushes it. Massenburg will take it, and he'll give it to Harris to travel. He got up in the air, touched down with both feet before the pass.
No shot blockers for Buffalo, but a lot of speed for Kentucky. These young kids are hooping today.
This is the original light beer. And 40 years later, we still brew it the same way. Because when you get something right, you don't mess with it. Miller Lite. Hold true.
We took all your wonder-filled moments of Oreo and and put them in a chocolate candy bar. That's the Oreo chocolate candy bar.
DirecTV Now gives you more for your thing, your March Madness thing. So you're right there for the next Cinderella thing. DirecTV Now, stream the live TV you love on any screen. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Hey, strike! That's not bad. Strike!
Man, I'm getting hungry.
What can I get you?
Tri-tip slaw and baked beans.
Anything else?
Oh, and chili fries.
Chew up, chili fries!
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
Hell of a day, huh? Someone's mutating animals into monsters. We're in trouble.
You know there are other ways of dealing with people.
That's a big arm. Don't fight it. I do know that, yeah, but that's no fun.
Rampage. Experience it in IMAX. Rated PG-13.
Great atmosphere here in Boise as you take a look at our game summary. Kentucky has an 8-point lead, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been on point. How about 33 points his last two halves of this tournament?
And 6 for 6 starting off this half, and I love the fact he's been doing a little bit of everything on the boards as well. Getting to the free throw line and quieting the crowd.
16 points already for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Scored 17 in the second half Thursday against Davidson. He has been on attack mode from the start. Under 4 minutes in this first half, and an entertaining first half. Great athleticism. Finally saw Buffalo start to make some three-pointers after missing their first 7. They've hit 5 of their last 8. Knox back on the floor, rolling, and he's fouled. Oh, no offensive foul.
Great call. Great call. That left hook, and how about this? That's the third on Knox, and that's the aggressive D of Buffalo. You'll see that little hook right there. Nope, hand caught in the cookie jar. Carruthers, great job moving his feet. And how about Clark being there to help just in case?
Good eyes, C-Webb. That's a big foul. Their best player on the bench, Kevin Knox.
If you're Buffalo right now, keep your composure, because believe it or not, you've been out-rebounded by 3, but you have a +3 on the offensive glass, so keep shooting and attacking that glass.
Harris, he gets a switch. Now going to the hole, and he's fouled. Got the mismatch he wanted. Got the big man out there. He went right by Nick Richards. And to the free throw line goes Jeremy Harris.
Buffalo now in the bonus, double bonus. Jeremy Harris.
2 shots for Jeremy Harris. You can't teach speed until now. Bleacher Report. Get alerts for your teams and scores before anyone else. Download the app right now. Bleacher Report.
Kalia Jones back on the floor for Kentucky.
Sasha Kalia Jones will re-enter for Kentucky. Jeremy Harris rated as the 2nd best JUCO player last year, coming to Buffalo, and has been an impact player for him. Hits 1 out of 2. Kentucky with the lead, up 7, and the ball as we get toward the 3-minute mark of this first half.
Offensive foul right there by Diallo. He got away with it. Carruthers took the worst of that battle.
Gabriel passes up a 3, gives it up. Kwani Green all the way in, has it blocked. Clark got him. Gabriel there, met at the rim, gets it back, looking for some room, and he finds it. And one, Wenyen Gabriel.
Basket is good, and the foul on Dante Carruthers, 2nd personal.
If you don't succeed at first, don't put your head down. Keep on trying. Even if you think he got fouled in there 1 or 2 times before the call. Tenacity, stay with it.
Tough bucket for Wenyen Gabriel, who was so good in the SEC tournament. Hit a go-ahead put-back shot against Tennessee in the championship game. Made 7 3-pointers in the SEC semifinal matchup against Alabama. Alabama knocked out earlier today as Gabriel caps off the 3-point possession.
If you were Smart and if you were Kevin Knox, you have to keep your focus right there, right now. No more of a frustrating feeling than being on the bench, not being able to help your team.
Graves unable to hit the 3. It's going to stay on this side of the floor, and Kalia Jones will be called for his 3rd foul.
Perkins, he's known for a bucket getter. He's known as the microwave off the bench, but right now, he's going to have to be a force inside and use his size to try to get some extra possessions for his team and try to get a couple tough ones up and maybe get some of these guys in foul trouble in Kentucky.
I tell you, foul trouble is going to be a huge story as we get toward the finish line as Perkins gets the friendly bounce. They're stacking up in a big way right now. You got 3 fouls on Smart and Buffalo. 3 players with 2 fouls. Kalia Jones and Knox will sit down as well. Knox with the 3. 1 out of 2.
You can really lose your focus on this side if you're a player thinking about those fouls, becoming a victim, feeling sorry for yourself. Knox is not going to do that. Smart not either. But you have to make sure you stay focused.
Quade Green on the take. Little floater off the window. Pretty touch. Jeremy Harris gets 2 up in the air and a pass right into the hands of Gilgeous-Alexander. More free throws coming. And a foul. Javon Graves. Here's the foul trouble for the Wildcats. Kalia Jones, Kevin Knox, Gilgeous-Alexander. Still sitting on 16 points. Stream live 24/7 highlights, scores, and news free across all your connected devices with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out now, cbssportshq.com. 1 out of 2 for the Kentucky point guard.
Only 2 minutes left. You have to execute down the stretch. You can't afford to let Kentucky get up and buy any more. Wes Clark right there doing his best to keep his team in the game.
Well, he's got a wide array of moves, a little dribble pull-ups. He can get to the hole. He's made 3 threes already. He's talking about those 4 games against Kentucky a few years back while he was playing for Missouri. He said it didn't go well. I'm looking forward to another chance in this environment. Averaged just shy of 12 points a game in those 4 games. They were all losses, however, against Kentucky. Gabriel for 3. Boy, if he gets hot, look out. Gabriel can be deadly from behind the arc. Perkins for 3. He can't buy one right now. Massenberg kicks it, and foul is going to be on Kentucky's Nick Richards.
Wes Clark, you have to use your speed. Stops on a dime for the pop.
Wes Clark, he's been a great story so far. Lisa has more on the senior.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. You know, I talked to him in the pregame, and when he talked about his meetings with them when he was at Missouri, he said, they beat the heck out of me. I'm like 0 for 5 or 0 for 6. And I told him, no, you're only 0 for 4. And he said, well, it feels like 0 for everything. So I cannot wait to get my shot at Kentucky one more time.
He's playing for his high school coach, Romulus High School outside Detroit. Playing for him here at Buffalo. We'll take a break.
Rated T for Teen.
Introducing McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu. Use it to build the My Dog Ate My Wallet meal or the Something for Everyone meal, featuring the new classic chicken sandwich for $3. Build your meal with favorites on McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu.
wake up early.
Slap on some cologne.
I'm 85 and I wanna go home.
Just got a job as a lifeguard in Savannah.
I'm 85 and I wanna go home. Dropping sick beats, they called me DJ Nana. 85 and I wanna go.
Don't get mad. Get E-Trade, kiddo.
To the hoop!
And the Lady Bears have done it!
Nate Oates, high school photo time. He was the head coach at Romulus High School just outside Detroit 11 years before joining the Bulls. Wes Clark on that team. E.C. Matthews of Rhode Island on that team. Matthews scored 23 today. Rhode Island knocked out by Villanova. But it was a recruiting visit. Dan Hurley going to see E.C. Matthews. Liked the way the program was functioning there at Romulus. Encouraged his brother Bobby Hurley, who was taking over the Buffalo program, to give Nate Oates a chance on the coaching staff. He did, made him his top assistant, and now Oates and Clark are reunited for this senior year. It's quite an intertwining of Hurley's and Romulus High School. That's a high school you know very well, Chris Webber.
Oh, yeah, grew up watching the games there. Terry Mills and great John Long and others that were playing there, but man, to be able to play for your high school coach, I know it would have been really cool to play for mine in the NCAA tournament. They must be having a blast.
1:12 remaining. Another three is up by Gabriel. Just hit one a moment ago. Graves pulls down the rebound. Rhode Island eliminated by Duke, I should say, not Nova. Inside Perkins, strong, and finishes.
That's what he needs to do. Way to switch up your game. Way to adjust in the middle of it. Go inside. When you get your other guys back smart and Jordan consistently, then you can go back out and play a regular game of threes.
On the take, Gilgeous-Alexander kicks it. And that was last touched by Graves.
This is what you call a duck in. Look at it right there. Get in that position. Nice vision by Clark. Wow, Gabriel coming over for the help. You still get it down. Good job by Perkins.
Put that ball right in the face of Nick Richards, did he? Shot clock down to 6. Gilgeous-Alexander, Massenberg on him. Here's Green now. They switch it, and Quade Green misses a 3. Shot clock is off. Buffalo down 9. Chance to take the last shot here. Who will take that last shot? Massenberg down in the corner. Here's Clark. He goes. Not there. Massenberg gets it off in time. Can't get it to go, and the clock expires. And we get to the end of the first half. Good action here in round 2. The 13 seed, the Bulls of Buffalo. After taking down Arizona in a fight with Kentucky, the Wildcats have the lead. Coming up, AT&T at the half. We'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, highlights, and updates. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half as we send it over to Lisa.
Coach, you've had a very attack mentality. Half of your shots have come in the paint. But how has your point guard sort of established that mentality in the first half?
Well, when you play a pressing team, you press. When you play an aggressive team, you be the aggressor. Try to put them on their heels. That's all we're doing. Still have all kind of breakdowns on offensive rebounds. I mean, and they've scored on every one that's been a loose ball. We don't chase it down, they get it, it's a 3. They're a good team. I mean, they make threes, this is dangerous.
All right, thank you for the time. Brian?
All right, Lisa, thanks. Thanks to Coach Calipari. Halftime here in Boise, Idaho. 51-42 Kentucky. AT&T at the half is coming up right after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
DirecTV Now gives you more for your thing, your March Madness thing. So you're right there for the next Cinderella thing. DirecTV Now, stream the live TV you love on any screen. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Rated T for Teen.
This is the original light beer. Brewed to be everything you want in a beer and less. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Close out, close out, no! The Surrender Cobra can strike at any time. Notice the elbow at a perfect 46-degree angle. Is that ice mint leather I smell? It is now.
Man, is anybody playing any defense? I know they not.
Sunny. Yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sunny, you smiled at me and really eased the pain. You gave to me your all in all, and now I feel 10 feet tall. Sunny, one so true, I love you.
Here's to all the things that make a house a home. Like a hoop in the driveway. Coldwell Banker Real Estate.
My time is thin, but so is my lawn.
Now there's new Scott's Thicker Lawn 3-in-1 solution with a soil improver, seed, and fertilizer to feed.
Now yard time is our time.
This is a Scott's Yard.
Live news, scores, and highlights. Streaming free across devices 24/7. CBS Sports HQ. AT&T at the Half is presented by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Man, does Kentucky have some guys who can get to the tin? Amadou Diallo right there, and Kentucky with a 51-42 lead over the Bulls of Buffalo with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Back here in New York, AT&T at the half. Ernie Johnson along with Clark, and Charles Kinney is now in. We've had shift change because Greg is
I'm off press.
Done his duty.
How do you feel, Chuck?
I prefer Wally over you. No disrespect.
No disrespect. I prefer Wally over you too.
You guys know what day this is, by the way?
St. Patty's Day.
Nice green on none of you.
No, it's in my pocket.
Come on.
Would you green is in my pocket?
It's a green.
It's not all the way green.
I was gonna say
green,
that's a
green pants.
Okay,
that's a
stretch.
Green
The socks are probably about the best. Yeah.
Well,
there we go. The
green.
set is
Anyway,
locked
it
in.
is.
That's why we didn't have to wear green attire.
Yeah, this
is
our green.
That's my green.
I knew I shouldn't have gone down that road.
We good.
We good over here.
I know you are. Every day is St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day.
51-42 is the score, and you talk about guys. They don't rely on the three ball at all. Kentucky. When you got guys like that can get in the paint and score.
And Gilgeous-Alexander's been terrific over the last 8 games. Came in here averaging 19 a game in his last 8 and was brilliant. Eel-like and throwing off sparks.
Oh, yeah.
6 for 6, 17 points for this young man. He's been terrific. He's got excellent size, nice change of pace, and he attacks that rim with aggression. And then when he does this, he's virtually unguardable. But all that said, Ernie, the Buffalo Bulls, 5 of 17 on threes, not their norm, and they've competed on the glass and second chance points. So that bodes well for the next 20 minutes for them.
As far as Buffalo goes, all I needed to hear was what you did as you watched the first half. You said, this team is nice.
Oh, they get it done. Clark, you look at Clark and Harris, the two areas that, you have to be really good at to play against a Kentucky team, they are. Clark and Harris at that 1 and 2 spot. Because you have to be able to create your shot because they put so much pressure on you on the defensive end. There is no, oh, let's run play 5 and get it to, no. You better be able to break your man down if you're playing against Kentucky, and that's what Clark and Harris can do. So it's going to be a close game. I do think that Gilgeous Alexander reminds me of Rajon Rondo in terms of getting to the basket. So if you're guarding him, you have to play him more that way because when he gets to the 10, he finishes. And then Diallo is just a freak athlete. You know, Left Rack City's finest. You know, he's
the shout out.
But he's a kid that can make special plays because Clark had a layup in the first half that on 9 out of 10 guys is a layup, but he's able to come back, Chuck, block the shot, and Knox haven't even played well yet.
He was in foul trouble.
Yeah, foul trouble, hasn't even played well.
For a little bit.
You know, so this is going to be an interesting second half. I'm looking forward to see if they can slow down Alexander first.
I'm missing Wally already. You can't talk the whole damn time.
Well, they didn't give us no time.
We make quick, succinct statements on the show.
No.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say succinct.
Wait, you gonna talk the whole time? It's a very short halftime.
I'll tell you this.
Now, I can hear.
Wasting it right now.
Damn saying you got 12 seconds
You're
now.
wasting it now.
It's 7
wasting
now.
it.
7.
Wasting
No, the stuff we talked about before the game, can Buffalo make enough threes, and can they compete on the boards? They're halfway home. Kentucky, they're going to be driving to the basket. They're not a great shooting team, but they're just bigger. But the Bulls have competed on the boards. It's going to be very simple.
You said the same thing early before. Why you want to just say the same thing? You want all this time, and you're going to repeat the same statements?
Let me rephrase that. I miss Wally already. But can they make enough threes? And they're only 5 for 17. That's not enough. If they need 3, if they made 3 more, we have a different game. Can they make enough threes in the second half? It's that simple.
They were 15 for 30 in the win over Arizona from three-point range. They also shot 50% for the game and have shot 50% or better 10 out of their last 13 games. But Buffalo's not out of this thing. It's 51-42 at the break. We'll be back with more AT&T at the half after these messages. Great to be back with you guys.
I got more to say, Ernie.
DirecTV Now gives you more for your thing, your March Madness thing. So you're right there for that cutting down the nets thing. DirecTV Now, stream the live TV you love on any screen. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket. You can say that again.
Upgrade your game to Intel's most powerful processor.
Does this map show the Peninsula Trail?
You won't find that on a map. I'll take you there. Take this left.
If you listen real hard, you can hear the whales.
Hear that?
Our Subaru Outback lets us see the world, sometimes in ways we never imagined.
Get 0% APR financing on all new 2018 Subaru Outback models, now through April 2nd.
Dad! Can you drive me to Jessica's house?
This is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but so's making the most of the house before they're out of the house. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
Today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. But it's not really about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have mixed reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. So what will you do with it?
TVNow.com.
Coming up next on CBS, it's 5th seeded Ohio State taking on the number 4 seed in the West, Gonzaga, for a spot on the Sweet 16 on the line. Now, for those of you in Columbus and Spokane, there's never a shortage of places to get your March Madness fix, but where to watch is always an issue. At home, at a bar, at the office. A recent study ranked the best cities in which to watch the tournament. We sent our Deep Brackets team their findings, and they broke it down.
Here's a good bar debate for March. What's the best college hoops town in America? Well, a recent study named the top 289 cities for college sports fandom. Why 289? 300 just seemed a little excessive. As expected, Chapel Hill topped the list. But let's face it, with 3 of the most historic basketball programs in the country, it's pretty easy to be a fan in the Triangle. Instead, our hats are off to the fans who thrive in less habitable basketball cities. Places where this guy is what passes for a mascot most Saturdays. Sweet moves, dude. Pocatello, Idaho is known for, well, being named Pocatello. It also happens to be 286th on the list. 3 from the bottom. But it may surprise you to learn that Itta Bena, Mississippi ranks 19th on the list. Itta Bena, where the head count is low but school spirit is high. What school? Itta Bena State, of course. Close enough. We sent a crew to get beauty shots of Hackensack, New Jersey. This is what they came back with. Perhaps that's why it comes in at number 284. Hackensack. It's for the birds. Sorry, that was hacky. And sacky. So for the antisocial fan who is looking for less of this and more of this, check the list and consider heading to a place like Kalamazoo, ranked 260th. Just make sure they get True TV.
Chuck, where do you reckon Auburn fell on that list?
Oh, when Auburn's playing?
Yeah.
Oh, top 75.
Oh.
75? Yeah, we're in the top 75.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow. Yes. We're number 75.
Tip of the hat to you.
I'm talking about, you know, where did Chapel Hill rank?
That's the top quadrant.
Thank you.
Out of 380.
Yeah.
And that would be top quadrant. I mean, that's not bad.
Top quadrant. That's good. And you're number 1. You're at the top of the list, Chapel Hill.
I mean, I'm not going to talk on this segment. But
You're good to go for the whole night.
Number one, just talk. Number one, just talk for itself. I don't have to say anything else.
You had 3 schools in a quadrant.
No, number 1 in the break.
New Britain, Connecticut, by the way, was number 289 last on that list. And when Tom Crean starts kicking tail in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, there you go. Ernie got the alma mater in there.
Just lost a good coach.
Buffalo and
I like Tom
Kentucky
Crean.
coming up after this.
Good.
AT&T at the Half is presented by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Home, home on the range, where the deer and the cantaloupe play.
Stop! Pump your brakes. Did you just say cantaloupe?
Yeah, makes sense.
How can it make sense?
Deer love cantaloupe.
Are you serious?
I don't think your melon is right. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the cantaloupe play. Woo!
You guys remember this championship game?
How can I forget it? I was there.
Oh, hey, I was there too.
No, you weren't.
There's 5 seconds on the clock. Lorenzo gets the air ball, drives it through the hoop, wins it all. Never seen anything like this.
Want to see what it's like to actually sit courtside?
Watch March Madness in virtual reality. You've never seen anything like it.
We'll have it when you get here, Jim. Another satisfied customer.
Secret handshake.
Drive the car, honk the horn, windshield wipers, dipstick, Napa know-how. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
To the hoop!
And the Lady Bears have done it!
Let's take a look at the first half stats powered by Google Cloud. 51-42 bench points, 16 from Kentucky, getting 8 from Wenyen Gabriel, 6 from Quade Green. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads both. 17 points in the first half, combining for 93 points. Go to ncaa.com/bracketiq for more. Amadou Diallo going up to the 11th floor. We got the second half coming your way next.
We're talking top Cinderella stories. 1983 NC State, 2011 Butler.
What's a Cinderella story?
2013, diagnosed chronic myeloid leukemia. 5 hours later, started chemo. June 2015, remission. I'm a Cinderella story. 1 dog, 2 kids, and a trampoline. Who doesn't like a trampoline?
Take a time out to fight cancer. Play the Infinity round by round bracket.
Different games, 3 different outcomes. Catch 3 NCAA March Madness games at once with Multiview on PlayStation Vue. Learn more today.
PlayStation.
Trying to find a grill big enough for our giant barbecue.
This is the one.
Now that's a grill.
Perfect for this giant barbecue.
Hey guys, we talked about this, didn't we?
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get up to 20% off select grills.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket.
You can say that again.
Upgrade your game to Intel's most powerful processor.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long.
Live news, scores, and highlights. Streaming free across devices 24/7. CBS Sports HQ.
Great atmosphere here in Boise, Idaho. 93 points combined in that first half, most we've seen so far in this NCAA tournament. Brian Anderson, Chris Webber, and you have to start with Kentucky here and their dominance in the paint right now.
Yeah, they're doing it all over, and it starts with them in the paint attacking, but also whether it is the fast break, whether it is in the half-court set, or whether it's just off of second chance points, using their size to get inside to get some easy buckets and dominate Buffalo inside.
Kentucky has the lead as we get ready to start this second half. We check in with Lisa Byington.
You better believe Buffalo is going to go right at Kentucky's foul trouble. So whoever Kevin Knox and Kalia Jones are guarding, they're going to go right at them. They're going to set some ball screens, and instead of the first half pick and pop situations, it's going to be screen and slip, trying to draw more personals on those guys. One defensive adjustment, they tried to deny Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They're not going to do that here in the second half. They're going to pack it in the paint.
Thank you, Lisa. Buffalo sticking with their normal rhythm here, starting Perkins. Nick Perkins in the second half comes off the bench early and trying to get him the ball early. Perkins scored 13 in the second half in their win against Arizona. It's a turnover coming out of the halftime locker room. You know, Nate Oates needs Nick Perkins as part of this. He's a big body that can stretch the floor and shoot the basketball.
Talked a lot about the dominance of Kentucky. Now, if you look on the other side of Buffalo, they are actually better in second chance points. You see the nice little layup there, getting inside Diallo, but on second chance points right now, the advantage goes to Buffalo, 16-8. So they're doing some good things. Just have to try to stay consistent and get a spark going.
Washington and Knox with the 3 fouls apiece. McKenna Smart with 3 fouls as well. Starts this half on the bench. Harris misses on the 3, and here come the Wildcats.
Coach Oates really upset that time, yelling at his players, saying, "We told you to get the ball inside to Perkins, and when you don't do that, that's a 4-point swing because you didn't pay attention to coach on the other end executing on offense."
Gilgeous-Alexander is having one of those nights. His second NCAA tournament game. He's got 19 already as Perkins taking on Gabriel. He'll go to the line to shoot a pair.
Coach Oates right now is yelling at his team to get it to Perkins. So right now they want Perkins to have the ball. He's the only person on this team that size-wise could play on Kentucky. Now they got guys with skill that can, but he's the only one that can match inside. And right now, Coach Oates wants him to go, force the issue, see if he can get some more foul trouble, and then penetrate and kick it out to his shooters.
Saw that 49-point second half for Buffalo against Arizona on Thursday. Very capable of scoring quickly against the athleticism of Kentucky. All these freshmen, they don't have the experience that Buffalo does, but there is so much talent on the floor. Perkins hits 1 out of 2. And, you know, for Coach Cal right now, he was concerned about the lack of experience coming into this tournament, but now there is one under the belt. Nice catch. Gilgeous-Alexander can't finish, though. And Perkins rips down the rebound.
Yeah, I think that's a little overstated, though, when he has probably the most talented players in the game.
Perkins had it blocked by Gabriel. Gabriel so long, coming out, closing out. They're making it hard on Nick Perkins. You can tell he is a big part of Kentucky's game plan as Gilgeous-Alexander is fouled.
The fact that this team doesn't have a senior, so much leadership coming from freshmen, Knox and others, and that's what really impresses me about this team. They have to police themselves. Young guys, and they're doing a great job of it, coming with the energy early in the second half.
It's a big moment in this game early in the second half. Devontae Jordan just picked up his 3rd foul. He goes to the bench now. He is Buffalo's best defender on the ball. Washington gets his own, rips it down, goes up, is fouled. Free throws coming for P.J. Washington. Number 4 on Smart.
P.J. Washington at the line for the Wildcats shooting 2.
Well, Monday, an all-new late show. Steven's got Drew Barrymore plus Adam Devine. And then later this week, catch Kerry Russell and NFL superstar Tom Brady. Only CBS.
You know, B.A., I was in the back, and you learn something every game. I'm in the back, and a guy comes grab me by the back of my head and said, "Hey, you remember we used to play against each other?" I said, "Yeah." He went to Grand Rapids Central. Well, that guy, P.J. Washington's father. How about that? Didn't even know that I played against his father, but I told his father, "Hey, the son looks a lot better than you."
I would never grab you by the back of the neck, by the way. I couldn't even reach the back of your neck.
Oh, his dad is about 6'10", too.
Washington, he did foul out in that first game against Davidson. He had a very good first half. Here's Clark for 3, hits another one. He's been their big offensive threat behind the arc. His 4th made 3-pointer. Clark has 16. Clark has been unafraid of the bright lights of March Madness. Gilgeous-Alexander called for the offensive foul. Massenburg hit the deck. Second foul. How about Clark?
That's how you're going to have to beat this team. I heard Kenny Smith say it at halftime. You can't call a play against Kentucky because they're just going to sit there, wait for the play, and swat that shot into the stands. You got to have some shot makers, some guys that can get their own shot, get space for themselves.
Massenburg now up and over. Diallo. Carruthers with the putback. Dante Carruthers with his first basket, an important one. Gets his crowd back in it. And Kentucky with a turnover. Diallo and Quade Green, miscommunication. John Calipari pulls Quade Green out. Kevin Knox back in. Big chance for Buffalo here. Trying to cash in, back-to-back possessions. Clark pulls up, hits another. He's got a big gain in him.
Stop and pop.
Timeout, Kentucky.
The undersized Buffalo squad getting it done. And you see the bench, they're loving it.
We took all your wonder-filled moments of Oreo and put them in a chocolate candy bar. That's the Oreo chocolate candy bar.
Over a year ago, I was diagnosed with advanced non-small cell lung cancer.
A true story with Keytruda.
My world came crashing down.
Come on, kids.
But I was not ready to give up.
After testing for high levels of PD-L1, I started on Keytruda.
In a clinical study, Keytruda offered patients a longer life than chemotherapy, and it's an immunotherapy that can be your first treatment. Keytruda is for adults with non-small cell lung cancer that has spread, who test positive for PD-L1, and whose tumors do not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack normal organs and tissues in your body and affect how they work, and may be serious and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you experience new or worsening cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, severe stomach pain or tenderness, nausea or vomiting, rapid heartbeat, increased hunger or thirst, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in urine, changes in eyesight, muscle pain or weakness, joint pain, rash, itching or flushing, as this may keep these problems from becoming more serious. These are not all the possible side effects of Keytruda. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems, or if you've had an organ transplant, or lung, breathing, or liver problems.
I used to take the small things for granted. I don't anymore.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda, with more FDA-approved uses for advanced lung cancer than any other immune.
New York City is now New York CC's. New York-inspired ingredients baked into New York-style pizzas and new cheesecake brownies. Just $5 and change on the buffet for a limited time, only at CC's.
Our Infinity Coaches Spotlight, Nate Oates, Watertown, Wisconsin native, the MAC Coach of the Year, his third NCAA tournament, second as a head coach. He was Bobby Hurley's assistant at Buffalo. Coming out of the timeout, Kevin Knox misses a three, Washington the board, and Green will get it set up. After a talking to, Quade Green returns to the floor.
Looks like Wes Clark over there, agonizing in some pain, got caught up in that mix-up.
Yeah, he's clutching at his left knee as he is guarding Quade Green away from the ball. And now Knox throws a rocket right past Green. Turnover, Kentucky.
And this is why You have to play the full game as well. Look at this injury. Look at this coming in, and he's boxing out. And that's what happens when you box out a 6'9" guy inside. Just really getting it done. But Will West Clark, let that affect him? Does he need a second over at the bench? But if you are Buffalo right now, you still need to execute. And again, you have to remember, you're leading second chance points 18-9, so you're dominating the offensive board.
It's a 7-0 Buffalo run. Third turnover this half for Kentucky. Had 5 in the first half. Clark, nice pass, good catch. Oh, good recovery by Gabriel. Wow, what a defensive effort.
Oh, that looked like it was over and back.
Carruthers did get a piece of it. Official indicating that it was deflected back. Or some kind of reach by Gabriel. Kentucky trying to stem the 7-0 run. On the deck, offensive foul.
The reason why that play worked on that charge was because the little fella coming over and helping the little guys inside. But look at the no-look right there by Clark. He's going to drop it. It's going to slip it on the other end. How do you save that ball inside, Gabriel? Good defense, good offense, good game.
To the hoop!
And the Lady Bears have done it!
New York City is now New York CC's. New York-inspired ingredients baked into New York-style pizzas and new cheesecake brownies. Just 5 and change on the buffet for a limited time, only at CC's.
DirecTV Now gives you more for your thing, your March Madness thing. So you're right there for that cutting down the nets thing. DirecTV Now, stream the live TV you love on any screen. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Creativity. See my creativity.
Regarde-moi.
Jiuping Chuangyi. See my creativity.
Rated T, Teen.
Finding a big game player right here in senior Wes Clark of Buffalo.
Oh, man, this is what he's been waiting for almost a year and a half. Got to practice with his team all year, but, man, these last 3 months, he's the guy that can step up and knock it down. But there, getting a little bang right there on that hip, and he's a good guard like you, B.A., throwing some assistant dimes, and you just told me he's going to graduate in May, so it's good to see him recover academically as well.
25 points he scored against Arizona. In the MAC tournament title game, he scored 26. And now he's on the take, and he is fouled. He is just putting so much pressure on Kentucky. And I go back to the beginning of the broadcast. I asked you what you liked about Buffalo in this environment, and your first point was their guard play. And it's the upperclassmen guard play as well that could be a big factor the rest of the way.
And trust me, when you're a freshman going up against those seniors, it's a notable difference in maturity, both mentally and physically. And so there's a different belief system if you're a senior, if you've worked this hard to play. And right now, the guards of Kentucky, the guards of Buffalo, really making it difficult on the guards of Kentucky.
Sasha Kalia-Jones just checked in, picked up his 4th foul, goes right back to the bench. Calipari may have to go deep on that bench right now because we got ourselves a 9-0 Buffalo run after the free throws from Clark. They were down 13 quickly in the second half. Kentucky scored the first 4 points of the half. But what an answer.
+3 for Buffalo on the offensive boards. That should not be that way. If you're Kentucky, go attack after you shoot the ball.
Knox gives it right back. Gilgeous-Alexander, 4 on the shot clock. 3-pointer is up. Knox, too strong. Diallo offensive board, and he'll go to the line.
That's what you have to do. Why have the size if you don't impose your will upon your smaller opponent? And it's an embarrassment to be out-rebounded by a team full of guards. +2. Look for Kentucky to take advantage of their size as the game wears on.
Amadou Diallo has had some highlights already in this game as he misses the free throw. We saw this against Davidson from Kentucky. They came out, they played beautifully in the first half, and then they got into a little bit of foul trouble, but got a little bit out of what they want to do in the second half. John Calipari referenced that in his post-game press conference after Thursday's win.
Oh, Kentucky going into a press that kind of shows you that they know this is serious.
Air ball by McCray, Kentucky ball.
Coach Calipari at halftime telling Lisa that when you play a pressing team, you press a pressing team, and he is so right. You don't sit back and be content with letting them be the aggressors. And Kentucky right there showing, wait a minute, we invented this press thing.
Nick Perkins back on the floor. McCray will sit. Perkins had a big second half against Arizona. Having to guard Washington right now. Massenberg on Gilgeous-Alexander. Gabriel for 3. Hits it. Gabriel's having a terrific night from behind the arc. His second 3. He's got 11 points off the bench to go along with 6 rebounds.
Wow, Kentucky just went into a zone. And I know coaches like to, players think that you're hiding behind the zone. Let me speak from a player's perspective.
As Clark gets through there, finds a window and scores.
You know what Clark is thinking? Y'all had to go to zone because your guards couldn't check me. That's really what he's thinking. When you go into the zone, you're basically saying, okay, we can see we have to try another way to stop you guys.
Just above the 14-minute mark, Kentucky employing the zone. Great eye. Let's see how that plays out. Clark just ripped him up. Clark with 22. No ill effects of that injury suffered in the first half. Diallo for 3. He's got it. 2 corner threes by the Wildcats.
They're showing that they're not just about size either, that they can stretch the floor as well.
Back to a 9-point lead. Long 3, Clark. Rounds in and out. Harris to follow. No. Diallo secures.
Great screen by Perkins up top. You can set a screen in the zone to get your shooters open.
Kentucky comes in here hot. They've won 8 of their last 9. But they had lost 4 in a row. Diallo feeling it. Comes up way short. Gabriel gets the board. Can't finish. A battle for it. And offensive foul on Gabriel. 2 missed opportunities at the rim.
This is how you attack the zone. You see the screen up top right there by Perkins? It opens the way for the drive. He also did it the next play, and they just missed that long 3 and the tip-in follow-up.
Kentucky with 5 team fouls already, just under the 13-minute mark. Ton of fouls in the first half as well. We were in the bonus at the 7-minute mark of the first half. Harris, quick catch and release. That's what he needed. Missed that layup a moment ago. He comes right back and scores. He's a major weapon for Buffalo, has 10 points now. Harris with 23 against Arizona. They got scores everywhere, and ball handlers and experience. Gilgeous-Alexander takes the contact. And the fouls keep stacking up. 14 foul on the Bulls. Nick Perkins picks up his first.
Must communicate on defense with any out-of-bounds plays. Screens, you do not want to let an easy one slip in.
Baseline out of bounds for Kentucky. Massenberg on the point guard. Gilgeous-Alexander. All the way across. Diallo now. Diallo. And he is fouled. No basket. I believe they're going to get Wes Clark here. That is the foul. That's number 3 on Wes Clark.
Good job right there, following his own miss. I tell you what, Diallo, it has been a Gilgeous-Alexander game, but Diallo to me has been the catalyst with his energy, that great block shot early in the game.
Cannot hit the first. Diallo, big trouble in the foul category for Nate Oates. Starting center Smart on the bench. You got to take Clark out of the game for a moment here at 12:19 with 3 fouls. Back into the game is Devontae Jordan, who has 3 fouls. He is their best defender.
What a box out. That's a basketball drill. Box out and let the ball touch the floor before you get it.
Richards almost snuck in there to get it, but Buffalo does secure. Devontae Jordan will get Buffalo into their offense. Javon Graves trying to take Green. He'll go, and he gets the bounce off the window.
That's because Perkins occupied the big fella inside, so he couldn't come help. Perkins was dunking in. You had to respect him. The lane parted wide open.
Now Buffalo getting some scoring from those who don't put up the big numbers. Graves did not score in 7 minutes against Arizona. There's another foul. Gilgeous-Alexander is a handful. Stocking up the fouls.
Got to earn it inside with your boxing out. Right now, Buffalo playing with a lot of heart.
Introducing McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu. Use it to build the My Dog Ate My Wallet meal or the Something for Everyone meal, featuring the new classic chicken sandwich for $3. Build your meal with favorites on McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu.
Salute a lot! Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
We're out of Bud Light.
Let the Bud Light flow once again. Dilly dilly.
Dilly, dilly, dilly.
Need a fresh keg here, too.
It's really loud in my face.
A keg of Bud Light is changed every 6 seconds. Enjoy it fresh.
Chuck, why are we dressed like this again?
But the Final Four is in Texas this year.
This looks ridiculous.
All for one, one for all, Spike, like the 3 Muscamigos.
Somebody call the good and bad and tell them we have found the ugly. You look like how the West was lost.
I look good, Spike. Take another look.
Giddy up, Chuckaroo.
A little friends never hurt anybody.
All right, Adam, thanks. One of the 8 SEC teams to make it to the NCAA tournament. Kentucky coming in here as the 5 seed, traveling to Boise, Idaho. Kentucky has the ball and the lead. Kentucky had a 9-point lead at the half, stretching to 13 quickly. It is Diallo to score again.
Great flex play, cutting off the UCLA cut, setting the pick for the big guy, then coming right back around off the curl for the layup.
Wes Oates continues to sit for Buffalo. He's picked up his 3rd foul. He's on the bench with 22, Wes Clark, I should say, and a foul as Massenberg putting the pressure on Kentucky's D.
A lot of action before he catches the ball, but basically he comes back around off a curl from the big man, attacking the hoop. That's a great play call by Coach Calipari.
And then Diallo picking up the foul on the other end, sending Massenberg to the free throw line. Well, it's a tradition unlike any other. And with all the excitement in the golf world, the stage is set for a spectacular Masters this year on CBS.
For Kentucky, and on the floor for Buffalo, Dante Carruthers.
Massenberg hits the first. Buffalo went on a 9-0 run to cut it to 4. And it is a 6-point Kentucky lead with the ball. Kentucky in the bonus. Let's check in with Lisa.
Brian, part of that 9-0 run is part of a 4-minute stretch that Nate Oates is emphasizing to his team. He said, look, Kentucky is talented and athletic, but they are not locked in for 40 minutes. He continues to stress for his team 4-minute segments where they sometimes lose their focus. And in his words, we can really drill them in some of those 4-minute segments. Out of this timeout, this starts another 4-minute segment.
Thank you, Lisa. Good stuff. Both coaches referencing the youth of Kentucky. Coach Cal with his freshmen. And of course, Nate Oates felt like that was a severe advantage that they'd be able to exploit. We'll find out. 10:20 remaining in regulation. Gilgeous-Alexander, wow, so silky smooth, getting to the rim with a 360 spin. 21 points for Gilgeous-Alexander. He's missed 1 shot here tonight. He's 8 for 9, most of it coming right at the rim just like that. Harris trying to take on the big front court. Out to Massenberg, and he rattles the 3 home.
How about Harris? He was attacking the score. His shot was going to get blocked, made that extra pass. That's what you have to do against teams like Kentucky. You can talk about exploiting their youth, but you better trust each other first and foremost.
Massenberg with 18. Gilgeous-Alexander answers. Kentucky doesn't shoot a lot of threes. Didn't make one against Davidson, but they've hit on a few here tonight. Kentucky with their 6 made 3-pointer. 2nd of the game for Gilgeous-Alexander. 3rd of the half for the Cats. And Harris travels. Good defense by Washington.
Beautiful spin move. Attacking by Alexander, and the screen. Harris gets out there a little too late. Alexander lets you know I hit 3.
Probably the least heralded of all the talented freshmen coming into Kentucky, and he has emerged as a real force, major impact player running the point guard for the Wildcats.
Kentucky trying to get it to Knox as he works on that baseline. Look at his footwork for a big guy, so skilled.
And Knox catches, can't hit. Gabriel gets the board and the putback. Kentucky on a surge now. They're up 10. Wes Clark back on the floor, playing with 3 fouls. Good pass. Oh, the finish by Nick Perkins. Already. Clark just back on the floor, makes an impact.
Yeah, if they call you the underdog, just go dunk on the big dog.
Finally, I found chicken tenders that can pass as mine, which is nice because I've got better things to do.
That was double dribble, Raymond.
McDonald's Buttermilk Crispy Tenders. They're not grandma's, but she's okay with that.
Nobody drinks till this guy sweats.
Degree Advanced Protection works up to 100 degrees, but be careful, it won't let you down.
Take a look at the degree move of the game. That's an easy one right now. It's a point guard clinic in this one with Gilgeous-Alexander and Wes Clark.
Man, he just stopped on a dime and spent and got it inside. So skilled, so talented, but better yet, even a better leader for this team.
24 points for Gilgeous-Alexander. He scored 29 against Tennessee in that SEC tournament title game. Giving him big offense. He also has 3 assists at this point, and he's on the take again. Rises up, can't hit, gets his own. And coming away with it, Massenberg. Transition, Buffalo, foul, count it! Carruthers!
And the foul on Quade Green.
MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year, turning it into offense.
You have to use your speed. You have to use your toughness. Carruthers sees an open lane because the big fella Perkins ran down with him. You couldn't decide who to check. And look at the bench. They're excited. They're still in this game.
Dante Carruthers. He was key defensively in their win against Arizona and caps off a 3-point trip down the floor. Big play.
If you're Kentucky, keep your poise. You're still up. And you can always attack that offensive rebound.
Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Not just flying to the hole. Can't finish though. Here come the Bulls. Jordan kicks it to Harris. Steps into a 3. Short. Gabriel wanting to move it. Knox has to run it down. Buffalo gets back well. Gilgeous-Alexander takes the contact and scores. And one again for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Best player on the floor tonight. The Canadian owning this round 2 matchup. 26 points. Got a chance to cap off a 3-point trip after this.
New York City is now New York CC's. New York-inspired ingredients baked into New York-style pizzas and new cheesecake brownies. Just 5 and change on the buffet for a limited time, only at CC's.
NCAA March Madness has arrived. Don't miss a second of tournament basketball live on PlayStation Vue. Learn more today.
PlayStation.
We believe the best light beer to have with friends is the original light beer. Always brewed with more taste, less calories, and half the carbs. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Introducing the all-new Infiniti QX50, the most advanced Infiniti ever made. Infiniti, empower the drive.
Today we're here at Lowe's trying to find a grill big enough for our giant barbecue.
This is the one.
Now that's a grill.
Perfect for this giant barbecue. Hey guys, we talked about this, didn't we?
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get up to 20% off select grills.
With the new State Farm mobile app, you can get help with just a tap, wherever you are.
Hear you say.
Is that James?
Hey, you guys need help?
No, we're good.
A Hilton getaway means you get more because you get a break on breakfast. Get more play on the fairway. Get your game on. Get to hang out a little longer. There are some things you can only get when you book with us. Get more from your sports getaway with exclusive Hilton offers. Book yours only at Hilton.com.
DirecTV Now gives you more for your thing, your March Madness thing. So you're right there for the next Cinderella thing. DirecTV Now, stream the live TV you love on any screen. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Boise, Idaho. Our game summary. Kentucky 74, Buffalo 67. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the star. He's only missed twice, has 26 points. He went for 30 earlier this year, which is his season and career high. Went for 30 against Vanderbilt on January 30th. Wes Clark, top scorer for Buffalo. Gilgeous-Alexander trying to cap off a 3-point play. His last 8 games, he's averaging nearly 19 points a game. His overall season average just shy of 14. You can tell he's giving them big offense lately.
He is, and he's using that pick and roll. 38% of his possessions in pick and roll. Scores .91 points per pick and roll. And today, he seems like he's almost perfect from the floor off that pick and roll.
Feels like more than half. Here's Jordan for 3. Gonna miss badly. Harris trying to keep it alive, crashes into the crowd.
Wow, great agility by those cheerleaders over there, getting out of the way.
Back on the floor for Buffalo.
Harris trying to do all he could to throw that ball back in. Coach Oates imploring his team, don't get up, don't give up, keep the pressure on.
Haven't been able to hit the threes with the regularity they did against Arizona. Buffalo. Here's Diallo on the catch and shoot. He's got it. Knox set him up beautifully. And the spring-loaded Hamidou Diallo rises up above everyone. 10-point Kentucky lead. Diallo with 14. Harris will let a 3 go. Short. Diallo way up there in the rafters. Kentucky trying to keep the hammer down now. 6.5 remaining in regulation. Trip to the Sweet 16 is on the line. We're in the South region here. We headed to Atlanta. Here's Washington. He's fouled. Count it. And one in a mean face from P.J. Washington.
Flexes on him, let you know I've been in the weight room in the summer. Kind of like his dad used to do. Big fella driving, using that glass. But how about this? No, that's not a center. That's your guard going up, elbow almost touching the rim.
Washington trying to make it a 3-point play, does so. Now an 8-0 Kentucky run, and they've opened up a 13-point lead. And a good answer. Quickly, Wes Clark.
Don't blink. Buffalo trying to push the pace. That's the only way they really can stop the half-court defense of Kentucky, is to try to get a shot early, open, and do it as often as you can.
Knox with Carruthers on him. Diallo now springs free and scores.
Perkins couldn't go over that time, scared to get a foul.
Massenberg doing off the bottom of the backboard. Fortunate to save it. That was picked from behind. Gilgeous-Alexander picked it from behind, but I think Diallo kicked it.
Yeah.
That'll be Buffalo ball.
That's what Harris is going to have to do. Play point guard by default. The great strip from behind. And when Harris has the ball, his job is to score or take the larger defender in the hole, try to get him on his back, and use the creases in the lane to score if you can.
I think they're resetting the clock here. Shot clock was at 22. If it goes under 20 this year, part of the new rules, you just reset it back to 20. Wouldn't go all the way back to 30, but it hadn't gotten to that 20 number just yet on the shot clock, so gets them a couple of extra seconds here. Buffalo 22 on the board.
Maybe they'll throw it right into Perkins, and they do.
Perkins loses the handle. Up ahead to Washington, and he is stripped by Carruthers. That's off his knee. That's Buffalo ball.
Great teamwork by the officials, communicating, talking to each other, but better teamwork by these two, getting back on defense. That's why your coach always begs you, run down the floor.
Two guys who did not score against Arizona, Dante Carruthers and Devontae Jordan. Jordan had 2 points, but just 2 points, but they had huge impact on the game defensively. Carruthers has already come up with a couple of plays. Buffalo trying to add 2 more. That's a long 2. Smart lost his ground. Diallo comes up with a rebound. inside. Diallo again. Man, he's hot. He's having a great second half. That's 14 in the second half for Hamidou Diallo.
Some great play calls by Coach Calipari, getting his guys to where he wants them to shoot it.
Biggest lead for Kentucky. Buffalo needs something quickly here. They're going to need a run. They're running out of time. Under 5 minutes to go. Stopping Kentucky is the order here as Clark loses the handle. Another turnover. Kentucky fans, they are outnumbered here in Boise, but they are on their feet above their bench.
Oh, man, the Kentucky fans haven't sat down this game yet, showing their support.
Here's Knox. He'll pull it up. Massenberg, the rebound. Another chance here for Buffalo. Trying to stem the tide. Oh, swatted. D9. I think it was Washington got a hand on it.
Second line of defense always there for these Kentucky guards in case their man beats them. The big fellas have their back.
Fourth block of the game for Kentucky. Approaching the 4-minute mark. Gilgeous-Alexander gives it up. Gabriel. No. Smart with the rebound. They were ready to roar over there above that Kentucky bench. Hesitation. Carruthers goes all the way in.
That definitely was the Smitty from Michigan State of years past. He faked the handoff and continued for the easy wide open layup.
Kind of felt like there was a timeout coming or something. Everybody just stopped playing defensively for Kentucky. Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh,
no
what
way.
a catch and finish by Washington.
No way. How did he catch that?
Caught it low, raised it high, and throws it down. Clark, pass deflected, Smart in traffic. Three-pointer is up, in and out, and Gabriel pulls down the board. Too much size.
That was a grown man rebound right there by Gabriel. Wanted to make sure he secured that one.
Gabriel with a double-double now, and out of bounds. Timeout, I beg your pardon. The dunk, reaching low, finish it high. P.J. Washington and the Kentucky Wildcats are 3 minutes away from a Sweet 16 berth.
Mascots really lighten up games at the stadium. So this guy brought one to lighten up this watch party. Maybe stick with a tasty oven-baked chip. Lighten up your game day with Ritz Crisp and Thins.
Finally, I found chicken tenders that can pass as mine, which is nice because I've got better things to do.
That was double dribble, Raymond!
McDonald's Buttermilk Crispy Tenders. They're not grandma's, but she's okay with that.
This is the original light beer. And 40 years later, we still brew it the same way. Because when you get something right, you don't mess with it. Miller Lite. Hold true.
3 different games. 3 different outcomes. Catch 3 NCAA March Madness games at once with Multiview on PlayStation Vue. Learn more today.
PlayStation.
You know, I used to be good at this. You turn 40 and everything goes.
Tell me about it.
You know, it's made me think I'm closer to my retirement days than I am my college days. I'm thinking, will I have enough? Should I change something?
Well, you're asking the right questions.
Well, I just want to know, am I going to be okay?
I know people who specialize in am I going to be okay.
I like that.
You may need glasses, though.
Yeah.
Schedule a complimentary goal planning session today with TD Ameritrade.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket.
You can say that again.
Upgrade your game to Intel's most powerful processor.
So look at our game reset. Buffalo has possession after that Kentucky turnover. 15-point Kentucky lead. Each team with 2 timeouts. Each team in the bonus as well with a 1-and-1. If there is a held ball, right now the possession arrow belongs to Kentucky. Not a lot of time left for Buffalo. They can score quickly. Can they hold Kentucky is the key. They got it to within 4 at the 15-minute mark. But Kentucky on a 14-4 run. Clark going to the rack and scores.
Have to extend that high with his left hand, and gonna have to make a heck of a run here on both ends. First with the press. Oh, that was an offensive foul.
No call. Gilgeous-Alexander sets up Gabriel. Yes! Wenyen Gabriel, a huge 3 with 2.5 to go. 16-point lead, 16 points for Gabriel. His third 3. Clark, no. And the rebound, who else? Diallo flying high. And they're starting to feel it in Big Blue Nation right now.
Can't learn composure until you're in pressure situations, and right now, Kentucky gaining experience and maturity these last 2 minutes, having fought through some tough play by guards.
On the take goes Knox. Leaves it right for Washington. I don't know if he meant that.
That was a layup, my friend.
That's a pass.
No, that was a layup, but Washington cleans it up.
And a turnover. And now it's a victory lap. Diallo, look out! Showtime! Timeout! Big Blue. Rolling in Boise.
Well, tell us how you really feel then, Diallo. I know my man in the band is over there dabbing crazy right now. Somebody go check on the Kentucky band.
With the press of a button, you can order 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each with the new Pie Tops.
Order a pizza on your shoe?
Yes, with the new Pie Tops. And when your pizza arrives, you can even pause the game with the new Pie Tops.
Who called the timeout? It was Jenny. Her pizza's here. Who's Jenny? That's Jenny.
All right, guys, here we go.
Jenny?
Oh, all right, calm down.
Get the official pizza of March Madness delivered. 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas, just $5.99 each, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Go. Going to be the end of the line here for the Bulls of Buffalo after their thrilling win against Arizona. 13 seed taken down a 4 seed on Thursday. Most wins in school history. Their 3rd straight tournament appearance, 2nd consecutive for head coach Nate Oates. But they are running into a buzzsaw here in the second half in the Kentucky Wildcats as we check in with Lisa.
Yeah, and a shout out to Nate Oates' grandpa, Bill Martin, who's watching him play here on TV for the first time. He's in a nursing home in northern Illinois, and like I said, he hasn't had the capability of watching Buffalo play on TV, but this particular nursing home gets CBS, so this was his first time, and Nate Oates wanted us to make sure that he said hello and thank you to Grandpa for tuning in here today.
All right, good job, Lisa. It's going to be a turnover back to Buffalo. Nothing to hang their head about. This is a Buffalo squad that, when Bobby Hurley took over, brought him back into prominence in the MAC. Nate Oates takes over for Bobby Hurley after he leaves for Arizona State, and he has continued the trend here
and
for the Bulls.
Grandpa is happy wherever he's watching, and thank you for giving Coach Oates his toughness. That's where he told us he got it from.
Perkins. 93-75. It was a 7-0 run, ended up being a 21-6 run that stretched this lead out. Diallo, 16 points in the second half. Well, Kentucky, even though they were tested, they never wilted. They spent only 1 minute and 6 on the clock trailing against Davidson. They trailed only 15 seconds in this game against Buffalo.
And if you're a Kentucky fan, be happy that your team was tested. They made sure that they handled their business, and this will help them in the next game, keeping them live and ready to go.
Here's Massenburg. Hitting off one more three. And a whistle on Carruthers. Kentucky going to advance to their 27th Sweet 16. It's number 7 under John Calipari. A frustration foul by Dante Carruthers.
Gilgeous-Alexander and Diallo, the catalyst for this win tonight. Knox, yes, he's their best player, but Diallo started off on the defensive end, giving his team some confidence, and that just turned and spread to the team. It was contagious.
Wow, what a flurry here for Kentucky after they dropped 4 in a row. A lot of questions for Coach Cal. He said it turned out to be a good thing. We were able to define roles for these players. And they have won 9 of their last 10, including their SEC tournament win against Tennessee. Some of the stars for Buffalo, they've carried them all year coming out. Jeremy Harris, he's a junior. C.J. Massenburg's a junior, but it's the end of the line for Wes Clark. There's Massenburg. Buffalo's 7-game winning streak will come to a halt here in Boise. They're going to get a huge ovation and a huge gathering when they return to Buffalo after this performance.
So impressed with the freshmen of Kentucky. They all were the best players on their high school team. They all were alpha males, and they had to learn to be selfless, and they have. Sharing the ball, sharing responsibility, listening to leadership, policing themselves. It's fun to watch a young team grow and mature right in front of our eyes.
Getting some playing time here. Brad Calipari, coach's son. Johnny David's on the floor. Dylan Pulliam. Guys that don't get a chance to play that often. Same could be said for Brock Bertram, number 41 in blue, playing in an NCAA tournament game. Colby Moultrie got the ball in his hands here, and that's it. John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats headed to the Sweet 16 in Atlanta.
Kentucky now advances to the Sweet 16 in Atlanta, Georgia next week.
20-point win, trailed just 15 seconds. 7th time in the last 9 years. And what has looked like inexperience at times in the regular season is turning into tournament tested for Kentucky. Great run for Nate Oates and the Buffalo Bulls. Get a feeling they're going to be heard from again next year.
Oh, yeah. Already looking forward to the tournament next year. This one isn't even halfway through. Fans here giving respect to the Buffalo team as they walk off. And those Kentucky fans, those loyal ones over there, they're used to this, celebrating their team right into the Sweet 16.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He's with Lisa.
Yeah, part of those 27 points, Shai, you only missed 2 shots. And I know in your first round game you were upset with your shooting. How much did that motivate your start and your control in this game here tonight?
I just wanted to let the game come to me. I feel like I forced it a little bit in the first game, trying to get to my spots. Yeah, I just tried to read the defense a little bit better and let the game come to me, and it was a lot better today.
When Buffalo cut it to 4, what was the most important thing about Kentucky's response?
We just all knew it was on the other end of the floor, the defensive end and the rebounding. And we knew once we got that down that we were good. Hami came up with a bunch of huge rebounds that has stretched out the lead. PJ was big down low. All the big guys were great.
All right, thank you for the time. You're off to Atlanta. Brian?
As a star among stars, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What a night tonight as you take a look at the bracket. So now Kentucky headed to Atlanta, and they await the winner of the Cinderella team, UMBC and Kansas State. Great job, Chris. We're ready for another game here from Boise, Ohio State and Gonzaga. Tune into TNT and TBS right now, though, for live second-round games. Coming up on CBS, Ohio State and Gonzaga. We'll send you to our New York studio for the Capital One Tournament Central right after these messages. Kentucky takes down Buffalo, and the Wildcats and Big Blue Nation are moving on to the Sweet 16.
tired side, we'll pass it on down. Every day brings something new, so much to look forward to. Nationwide is on your side.
To beat the best, you simply gotta want them more.
Yes, dude, crew!
You have to leave it all on the court and always crash the glass.
And when the clock is ticking down, take the winning shot.
Oh, okay, and that is where the trigger is.
Game over, man.
Give me the ball before you hurt somebody. You're not helping. Stop. And that is a foul! Okay. And that is a foul!
Only on Netflix.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket.
You can say that again.
Upgrade your game to Intel's most powerful processor.
With the press of a button, you can order 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each with the new Pie Tops.
Order a pizza on your shoe?
Yes, with the new Pie Tops. And when your pizza arrives, you can even pause the game with the new Pie Tops.
Who called the timeout?
It was Jenny. Her pizza's here.
Who's Jenny?
That's Jenny.
All right, guys, here we go.
Jenny?
All right, calm down.
Get the official pizza of March Madness delivered. 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas just $5.99 each because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Today we're here at Lowe's trying to find a grill big enough for our giant barbecue.
This is the one.
Now that's a grill.
Perfect for this giant barbecue. Hey guys, we talked about this, didn't we?
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get up to 20% off select grills.